my heart. I was once stuck in Frozen too. Greatest superpower in the world that is attainable for you is the ability to influence people. How was your day?
Can you repeat the music?
How are you?
Oh, there we go.
How are you?
Today.
I am fabulous today.
Here we've got a great group.
I'm very excited to be here. We've got a great group of just beautiful souls
ready to influence.
Awesome.
Ready to influence.
Awesome. So Michelle, so thankful for you being here, gathering this entire group. My name is Callagy. We'll get back to more about any of that later. But Michelle, I am also in Southern California, as you are, a little further south than you, hanging out in San Diego today. It's a beautiful Hotel Del on the Pacific, having a beautiful...
You're frozen.
You're frozen.
Technology.
Yes.
Technology.
Yes. How is your day going?
Yes, you're talking.
Oh, yes, my
moment there.
you're talking. You froze for a moment there.
All is well. How is your day going? Oh yeah, I was saying all is well. How is your day going?
So you know what? Like I said, I'm here with this beautiful group of people, so I'm fantastic.
Give everybody 30
Exciting.
seconds. Get to intros. Maybe give everybody 30 seconds to be like who they are, what do you do. It sounds like who you are, what do you do, and the what do you do is like a sentence like, hey, you know, you could be a lawyer from Southern California. Or you might be somebody who's committed to truth and impact in the world and making things better through unveiling justice in a courtroom. So yeah, please, Michelle, drop in and let's start going.
Okay, well, we'll start with the beautiful and illustrious Diane Bass.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. I am a federal criminal defense attorney in Orange County, and I love to say that I defend the Constitution, and I am the gatekeeper between the government and my clients. I protect their rights.
Well, Diane, that's awesome. And how about a fun fact about you, something we might not expect?
I spent the first half of my life pursuing a career in ballet.
Amazing. Do you miss your ballet days? Are they still part of your life?
Yeah, I do. I mean, I do movement in different ways. I love Pilates and yoga. But yeah, and I ended up getting a degree in drama. So I spent 4 years in New York pursuing a career in drama and dance and voice, which of course I use all of those skills in my legal profession. And I like to joke and say that I dance around the issues now.
Quick question.
I was hoping she would say that.
Quick question, Diane. What was the craziest moment, like most insane, that you ever saw inside of a courtroom? Not revealing cases or names, but like most traumatic moment you can remember, just like, I can't believe this is actually happening.
Oh my God, I wish I knew you were going to ask me that question. The craziest thing, I think one of the funniest things that ever happened was Judge Carter, who's a phenomenal federal judge in Santa Ana in the Central District of California, was sentencing somebody to 36 years. And Judge Carter is in his late 60s. And he said, you know, come see me when you get out, I'll still be here.
Wow.
That is truly powerful and amazing, Diane. Welcome, and thank you for being here.
Thank you.
All right. Michelle, amazing. Who else we have?
Okay, let's go with Christopher Mccann.
Christopher, how are you?
Love this guy.
What's happening?
Can't hear you.
Mute. We can't hear you.
Chris, you might be muted. We can't hear you.
Doesn't look like he's muted on Zoom, so maybe on the computer?
Computer audio. Yes.
Do you want to bounce back to Chris?
We'll go to Janny, and hopefully she's got her microphone all solved.
Do you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
I can hear you now.
Okay.
All right.
I just needed to restart my computer, apparently.
Okay. So tell us about you.
Okay, so I'm Janny, and I work for Hotel California by the Sea, a substance abuse treatment facility here in Newport Beach. We do have a court services program. I've been working in alternative sentencing and court services for about 8 years now. I was originally hesitant. I was working for just simply an outpatient program with Scram Bracelet and PharmChem Drug Patch, and was hesitant to go to work in inpatient rehab treatment, just given the fact that the reputation for residential treatment facilities in Orange County isn't always the greatest. I'm in recovery myself. I've been sober for 17 years. And there was, thank you. It's my most, I've done a lot, but my sobriety is definitely my proudest accomplishment. So I was hesitant to come work for Hotel California, and after touring and after seeing it and meeting the staff and seeing what was going on with clients here, I had an opportunity to come help a lot more people than just simply an outpatient program, and also work for a company and get it out there that there is people doing it the right way, that truly care about what's going on in treatment and their clients and getting them sober.
Right.
So,
Janny, I have to ask the question.
sure.
It's the Hotel California where you can leave. Like, it's not that you can
No.
never. Is that true? No. And how about
The opposition I've faced in court is the name. It does not sound punitive. And it's, you can check, we hope you do leave. And what sets us apart,
eventually.
what sets us apart is we don't really want you to come back. We don't like the recidivism. We want you to get sober and go out and live your life and be a productive community member and never have to come back to us again.
And for those that have no idea what we're talking about, there's a song, Hotel California. Most of you may know, some of you may not, that we're joking about. So, Janny, thank you so much for being here. How about a fun fact about you?
Okay, so this is something that my son is actually a United States Marine, and I share that with the world. Ask Diane. I'm very proud of him. He's actually now going through the fire academy, but I actually went through Marine Corps boot camp myself. I don't share that with a lot of people because I get very private Benjamined all the time. And I was a reservist, but I did go through boot camp in Parris Island, South Carolina, and became a reservist after that for 4 years.
I know that, Janny.
I don't tell very many people.
That's amazing. And I have to interject, her husband is one of the heroes fighting the fires in California right now.
Yeah, my husband's been with Orange County Fire for almost 30 years now.
Well, thank you for your sons and your husband's service to the state of California and to our nation. Thank you.
Thank you.
Awesome. And congratulations on your sobriety. So, Michelle, awesome, fine folks. And Michelle, quickly, like, who are you and what are we doing? Why are you doing this? Like, what's happening?
Ooh, what an opportunity I have on my hands here with that question. Well, for those that don't know me, I've not only created what I call the Uber for lawyers and their court appearances with my company, Attorneys in Motion. I did it as a single mother of 4 and with limited resources, and have since grown that to be a nationwide company with over 7,500 lawyers. And why am I here? That is the question of the day. It's easy. I believe in what's happening here. The world is in the middle of a technological shift in the way that we communicate with one another. It's more difficult to make those deep and meaningful human connections. I think they say it's 2 weeks of Zoom before you can get the same connection that you would by shaking someone's hand.
Wow.
So I'm here for that. I'm here to be uncomfortable, to experience, to gain comfort, to help teach others, to help enable them to teach others, lawyers, and specifically for lawyers, a new way of reaching below the surface level and connecting with people and relationships. And I don't want to confuse confusion with the word uncomfortable. That discomfort thrived before I came to know Unblinded, where my fears controlled me. Fears of being on, say, a Zoom call like we're on today, what negative things people might think about me. And it controlled my communications. That I wasn't able to have those deep level, like heartfelt communications. So Unblinded has given me the technology that I needed, the technology and communication, immersive learning. I've burned those fears literally in Long Beach Island in a fire pit. And in my mind, I've gained new technology. And so because of Unblinded, now when I communicate with people, I'm intentional with my words, vocal quality, my body language, more congruent, and I can recognize when I'm stuck in my head and snap, shift myself back into my body and my heart and create those authentic, deep level, heart-centered relationships.
That's awesome, Michelle. And your story of entrepreneurship, coming from being a single mom, building a business as a non-lawyer, impacting thousands of lawyers with your work, both in terms of placing work and also working with firms, is an extraordinary inspiration. So thank you for that. And how about a fun fact?
Oh, fun fact. Oh, you know what, Sean?
Yeah.
You'll appreciate this one. Yesterday on my Facebook, a memory popped up, and it was like 7 years ago, I think, where I did an 18,000-foot skydive jump.
Awesome.
In a Dumb and Dumber costume.
In a Dumb and Dumber costume. That is extraordinary. Michelle, the incredibly successful entrepreneur and skydiving Dumb and Dumber person. Yes, thank you. So Michelle, who else do we have today?
Okay. Where do we lost someone. Was there?
Can you hear me?
Christopher, yes.
Yes. Hear you, yes. Yep. Is that Christopher?
Okay. Excellent. Okay, good. Good morning. Christopher Mccann. I am the president of my own law firm, Law Offices of Christopher Mccann. I've been an attorney for almost 20 years, and I've had my own law firm since 2007. I specialize primarily in driving under the influence cases and practice primarily in Orange County and also in Los Angeles County.
Awesome. Well, Christopher, thanks for being here. And how about a fun fact, please?
I am an avid ice hockey player. I grew up in the country in Michigan, so I'm a country boy, even though I don't look like it. But I like to play ice hockey. I played in law school, actually. I'm not a real big guy, but I played against some big college kids in full contact, and still, I played men's leagues for years, and unfortunately, I ended up in the sin bin, so I can relate to some of my clients and been put in confinement for a timeout. So,
are we hearing that you were a goon on the ice hockey rink?
A little bit, yeah. I guess the smallest goon out there. You know how it is. It's Napoleon syndrome, I guess.
Yeah. So we have some goon. We have goonness present. We have like changing the world happening. It's extraordinary. Thank you for being here, Christopher. Yeah, Michelle.
Okay, so one of the lawyers that was supposed to be on today is still stuck in court. So, okay. And I am resending a link to our next person because.
And do we have any judges for today? Do we want to jump in with? Or?
Oh, yes. Sorry, I'm trying to send this. The lovely Siobhan.
Well, Siobhan, attorney, judge, amazing. So yes. What's up? Yeah, what's happening, Siobhan?
Hey, Sean. Hi, Michelle. Thanks for having me on. Hey, everybody. I'm Siobhan Olivero. I am an attorney. I do high-level criminal defense, both state and federal, and I'm in Florida, as well as I do family law also. And I am also a certified divorce coach, where I brought that into my practice, where I saw a need for some emotional support for clients going through some of those tough situations. I'm also getting certified in Jack Canfield success principles to be able to utilize and take that into the jails and into my criminal cases, and for my clients to help them to break the cycle and have a successful life after their case.
Awesome, Siobhan. How about a fun fact?
So fun fact, let's see. So fun fact, Sean, since I've been back from LBI, I was just telling Gina and Deepak this before I got on, because I didn't, I was sick at LBI, so I had laryngitis. I came back to a severe strained neck muscle. I got a basal cell carcinoma cancer diagnosis that I have to have surgery on in 2 weeks, and I broke my toe this weekend. So.
Oh. You know what that tells me, Siobhan? You know what that tells me?
What is that?
My heart goes out, and I hope everything goes fine with the diagnosis and everything you're dealing with, but also suggests to me that you're on the verge of a massive breakthrough, and that there are forces that are resisting your acceleration. So we'll talk more about that. But thank you. Awesome. And thank you for being here. And seriously, my heart goes out. I didn't know that. So
thank you.
Michelle.
Sending much love to you.
Yeah.
Next, we have Deepak.
Deepak is in the house. What's up, brother? Who are you?
I'm a technology entrepreneur. So in my career, I've gone through 10 different startup companies. Some had great exits. Some did terribly. Many of those I started did terribly, but I've learned a ton. Since then, I've been coaching. I'm certifiable, uncertified. I love coaching. I love helping people. And my latest venture is a technology platform to help people solve the problem of follow-up, which is everybody stinks at follow-up. And that's what we do. We're solving that problem.
Awesome. And is your fun fact that you need services of a criminal defense lawyer? Was that your fun fact, Deepak?
I may.
Now, what's your fun fact, man?
My fun fact is I once did 30 days on the mountain, ski mountain, living in Texas in one season by driving.
Extraordinary. So help me with that. So meaning you drove to different places or you drove back and forth?
We drove back and forth. So me and my buddies would drive Friday night. We'd drive through the night into New Mexico, ski all day Saturday, ski all day Sunday, and then drive back Sunday night and straight into the office. And we did that every single weekend.
Dude, awesome. We have to ski. We haven't skied yet. I look forward to it, brother.
Yeah. This is gonna be awesome.
Michelle?
J-Sips in the house.
Iron Man is present. Iron Man is present.
How's it going, Sean?
Great. How are you, bro?
I'm doing great. So a little about me. I have went from significant spinal surgery, the reason I get called Iron Man, to finishing 5 full Ironman races. And right now I am a catalyst for impactful leaders, helping them with their 3 C's: curiosity, connection, and cause. And a fun fact about me, this morning, because of Eddie Van Halen passing away yesterday, I had to go in the Wayback Machine and pull out 1978 Van Halen, one of my favorite albums of my childhood, and make my 17-year-old listen to the album going there. So you got to hear Eruption, Running with the Devil, and all that good stuff.
I didn't know about Eddie Van Halen's passing. My heart goes out to him, his family, to you for your fandom, and I'm a fan as well. Was In the Cradle Will Rock, was that on that album as well? You know that song?
Yes, I do. It was not that album, though.
It's not that album. Okay, got it. All right, well, J-Sips, Iron Man, welcome.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
And we have Stephen Goodman.
All right. Stephen, how are you and what's happening, sir?
Doing good. I just got here because I was been working, but then it went overshadowed. I don't know what happened. I lost you there, but can everybody hear me?
We can hear you. Tell us about yourself.
Okay. Well, interesting facts. I started as a professional golfer. I traveled all the United States. Then I ended up being an acupuncturist for about 16 to 20 years. And then built a pretty profitable bail bond company. And then now I'm right here. That's how I met Michelle.
Is it called Chico's Bail Bonds? And did you sponsor the Bad News Bears?
You know what? I do coach a club soccer team and we are in last place consistently. So it should have been. And yes, I actually have made sweatshirts with Premier Bail Bonds on the back of it. No longer with Premier Bail Bonds, but yes, I made sweatshirts.
And is your coach a beer drinking former professional soccer player like Coach Buttermaker in the Bad News Bears?
Well, I've gotten used to losing, so it's not something. But you know what? I don't have a star pitcher. That's for darn sure.
You need Tatum O'Neal, right? There you go.
I do.
So, that's it. Stephen, welcome. Michelle, is that all of our fine folks for today?
Those are our fine folks for today.
Okay, so if I could drop in with a quick intro myself, would that be okay?
Please, I can't wait for them to hear about you.
And forgive me, guys, I will be out of the noise in a moment. It's more complex than our suite here at the Dell, but I'll explain in a few minutes. I'll be inside, so because there's some noise and work being done. So my apologies. Right. So hey, my name is Sean Callagy. I'm the co-founder of Unblinded. 23 years ago, feeling completely overwhelmed and being present to the fact that I was in the process of going blind. I'm now legally blind completely. Can't see anything on the screen. I realized that I didn't want to be functioning, having got my dream job at a law firm just a few months before, thinking I had won the game of law school and realizing I hadn't won the game of life, that I wanted the ability to control my destiny, my future. I had grown up as an athlete. I was captain of my Columbia University baseball team in 1992. I helped go on and play professionally. I was a 4-year starter there. And because of my eye condition, it didn't happen. But something better happened. I discovered that influence, integrous, heart-centered influence was a superpower. I quit my job. I started my own law firm, a whopping 6 months out of law school, built a 40-person law firm with no money, no contacts, no connections, starting on my credit card, because I discovered the access to exponentiality of marketing, relationship creation. Went on to sell that law firm, later went on to start a training development company, exited that successfully, then created my current law firm, Callagy Law, with 125 people in offices in New York, New Jersey, Florida, Arizona, Texas, soon to be beautiful California. And I also created the company Unblinded for credibility, just for the sake of like, this guy know anything he's talking about. I was one of only 2 attorneys in America to create 2 top 100 national jury verdicts between 2014 and 16. Both were in business breakup cases. Both, and the attorneys will understand what this means, I had $0 offers going into trial, and we came up with a $27 million verdict and a $33 million verdict in those 2 cases. And I was me and a guy from California that went in the top 100 twice during that period, and I was the one that was blind. I've spoken on Tony Robbins' stage at 7 of his last 8 events. And my purpose in the world, it's not about, those are just credibility pieces that I have something to say in the space of influence, but my mission in the world is to bring incredible people of integrous, heart-centered intention to create acceleration and to be present to causing leadership around the superpower of integrous influence and what to do with it to create more time, freedom, scale, and impact. I'm involved with a ton of charitable causes, including being on the board of the American Foundation for the Blind in our 100th anniversary year this year. I've also been substantially involved as a 6-figure plus donor to Operation Underground Railroad for freeing people from sex trafficking. So I'm about love, connection, impact, contribution, and thank you for being here today. This is the Real Raw. And when COVID began, our company Unblinded, the question was like, well, what happens now? Because we can't do live events. So what do we do from here? And certainly Callagy Law was impacted as well. I have the unique gratitude of saying with 125 employees, we have laid off nobody during the pandemic as a consequence of this situation. And we're still functioning and running beautifully, thankfully. And I feel grateful for that. I know a lot of people can't through no fault of their own, but I'm very grateful for that. So Unblinded, we're like, hey, how do we sit back and connect with people rapidly, efficiently, and build relationships and create a space where people could do the same? And it was the Real Raw. We've innovated daily since April. We've had 230 Real Raws to date. It might be 228, it might be 234. We lost exact count, but I'll call it 230 for today. It's not less than 225 for sure. And with people like yourselves from every profession imaginable, legal, accounting, financial, real estate, best-selling authors, national speakers, television personalities. And we're here to connect and explore in a gamified way, have some fun, the superpower of influence. So Michelle, anything you'd like to add, or are we good to go?
Thank you so much for that, Sean. It's an honor to be here with you all. I'm excited for this. I truly believe that at least my world is in the legal world with lawyers, and having my vision, I think I've said this before, is to have a world, this utopian world where lawyers communicate authentically with one another in the courtroom when they're retaining clients. And you know, that communication with opposing counsel is really important. So to me, this is a doorway, an entrance to that world.
And so thank you. No. Yeah, thank you. And quick 2 fun facts. One is I'm a blind guy that taught a blind guy to surf in the last month. And I'm a blind guy that jumped out of an airplane on the day when I woke up that morning, having no idea that I'd be jumping out of an airplane later that day. So it's been a busy month. And finally, along with Michelle and Jason and Deepak and Siobhan, we were jumping in the Atlantic Ocean in like offshore hurricane conditions at midnight just a few weeks ago together. So again, a busy month. And my other fun fact is, and this our legal brethren and sisterin on this call will appreciate potentially, if you ever want to read about some crazy stuff, the case was Wachansky versus Zoan in Arizona. It's the largest jury verdict of the last decade in the state of Arizona. And also the incredible federal judge that decided that case called it, Judge Joseph Campbell, the most contentious litigation he'd ever been involved in all his years on the bench. And so one could read into some of the insanity that was that case that consumed about 7 years of my life. And it was an honor and a privilege to serve in that capacity as lead counsel and trial counsel and all the craziness that went on. Made national law on a question of, in the federal system, on how to calculate the distinction between fair value, fair market value. But the case was about, false accusations, stealing, insurance fraud, having the inspector general of the state of Arizona on the witness stand that was claiming there was no insurance fraud. And I had to cross-examine him and expose the horrific job he did and the truth of the insurance fraud. It was like movie level insanity. And the superpower of influence was present and all the things that we did along the way. So that's a little my background. Michelle, if you're ready, who's going to go first today? And then I'll explain what first looks like.
Okay, let's start with Diane Bass.
All right. Hey, Diane, how are you?
I'm great. How are you, Sean?
Doing great. Thanks again for being here.
Obviously, you're at Hotel Del, so you're doing great.
Yes, it is a wonderful day. Although I found out yesterday, Diane, that Hotel Del had a great white shark sighting outside of it, and I was 100 yards offshore yesterday afternoon. It will be later today in the waters where it was exactly where a great white sighting was. So hopefully we'll not see one of those friends. So Diane, what we're doing here is we're exploring how we go from ODS in a short period, 3 minutes, not like a boiler room meets Wolf of Wall Street sales process, but what does it look like if we have 3 minutes maybe to influence a court that's just not paying attention? They're not hearing us. Or maybe it's an ideal client that's like fighting with us about a trial strategy, or saying yes to us to be their attorney because they're scared and they're not listening. Or it's just to have a longer meeting, right? Sometimes we have 3 minutes and we can't go from ODS in 3 minutes, of course, but we can connect and we can cause the desire for the investment of more time by somebody else. And that somebody else could be a client, a strategic partner, perhaps a book deal, a TV show. So the real outcome is that we want to go from ODS with whatever would be a meaningful yes to you. So Michelle can be an avatar. She could be a specific person, anybody that you want to role play what Hello to Yes looks like. And then the judges will give some feedback on the process. So who would you like? Does that make some sense? And if so, who would you like Michelle to be?
So Michelle is going to be a prospective client. I would like to say just quickly before we start, based on what you said, which was phenomenal, and everything that you were saying, I was mouthing, wow. I have had the distinct privilege of being the chair of the Orange County Bar Association Lawyer Wellbeing Committee this year. And, using Zoom and having this technology has been phenomenal because we've been able to do so many webinars. We've been able to attend webinars. And we had one of our first webinars was on mindfulness. We had 400 participants. Wow. Where normally we would have, 35 people sitting in a room at the Bar Association offices. And so it has been a phenomenal, this has definitely been the silver lining, is being able to connect with people and share empowering information. And to what you said about the adversarial nature of that trial that you did, I just finished drafting an article for the Orange County Lawyer magazine, and I talk about civility and how civility is one of the key pieces of lawyer well-being, and that we can be adversaries without being adversarial. And we can zealously represent our clients and still be civil towards one another. And I think that's one of the most important parts of what we need to bring to the practice. And, no matter what the situation is, always take the high road. And it works. I have great relationships with prosecutors across the country. And, I get great results for my clients because of it. I don't go in there with my guns blazing. I take them out if I need them, but only if we need them. So anyway, I just wanted to share that.
Well, thank you, Diane. I'd love to connect at some point and talk more about those dynamics. And heavy on my heart, awesome. I think heaviest on my heart about the legal system. And thank you for all the great work you're doing.
Thank you.
What do we do? What do we do when people lie? What do we do when lawyers lie? What do we do with the habitualized pattern of lying? And how do we deal with it? And it's something that I have a lot to say about. Not today, but I'd love to talk more about it. And I also have the unique privilege of encountering Scott Rothstein, the largest Ponzi schemer in the history of South Florida, with a client that was going to invest $8 million. And I was the person that exposed him. When the former head of white collar crimes for the FBI thought the deal was a good investment. And I love that guy, no disparaging him. But how do we deal with it? So that sits wildly in my space and heart. And I don't want to take up more time today and everybody's time, but I'd love to discuss civility, lying, how it all fits. And yeah, I'm looking.
Absolutely. I would love that.
Thank you. So yeah, who would you like Michelle to be today?
So Michelle's going to be a prospective client. She's calling me for the first time for a consultation.
Awesome. And would you like to give her kind of what's happened, what she's accused of? You want to throw that in or no?
Well, yeah, we've kind of discussed this beforehand, so we're ready to go, I think. Michelle, you ready?
look at this. All ready to go. I love it. Diane, Michelle. So we have 3 minutes. Michelle, say ring, ring, please, and let's go.
Ring, ring.
Hi, this is Diane. I understand that you are being investigated. I would love to hear what's going on with you.
Yeah, I'm really, really nervous right now.
I know that this is really, really scary. So why don't you just tell me what happened?
I'm a doctor, and I had been giving, some money to some pharmacies to, I guess they might call them kickbacks. And the FBI came in, they took all of my computers.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what's going to happen to me. I don't know if I'm going to go to jail. I'm worried about what my kids are going to go through. I don't know what to do.
Okay, I understand. This is terrifying. And so they came to your office and your home to execute a search warrant and took your computers and everything?
Yeah, both of them. And I don't know what's next. I don't know what they're going to do with that. I don't even know what they're looking for. I just know that I don't even know how they found out about that I was doing that. It was more just innocently trying to make a little bit more money to support my family better. And it just spiraled out of control. And
I understand. First of all, I want you to know that you are not alone, that this has, happens to many people. I represent lots of doctors, lawyers, pharmacists. So you're not alone, and I understand. I want to ask you, were your children home when they came to the house to do the search?
Yes, my 12-year-old daughter was home.
And so she's pretty traumatized, right?
She's so afraid.
Okay. So let me just assure you, they're not coming back. Okay. They're not going to come back to your house, and they're not going to arrest you. One of the most important things that you need to do right now is take care of yourself, take care of your daughter, take a lot of deep breaths, just really take care of yourself. And I would be privileged to be able to help you through this. What I can offer you is that if you retain me, what I would do is contact the agents who came to your house and your office, and I would find out who the prosecuting assistant U.S. attorney is, and then I would call them and make sure that they know you're represented, so they're not going to come arrest you. So if they do file a case, we can walk into court and then walk out of court a few hours later. So you are not going to jail, at least for now. I mean, I can't make any promises, but that is obviously your biggest concern. Your second concern, I would imagine, is your license?
Yeah, absolutely. Without that, I can't continue to make money. I can't stay in business. And
Okay. And I know other lawyers that I can refer you to help you with the licensing issues. So tell me, what are your other concerns? I understand, obviously, your livelihood and your family.
30 seconds.
Well, yeah. So I just want to be clear. If I do hire you, I won't have to worry about talking to any agents or...
You don't have to talk to anybody. I will take care of everything. All you have to worry about is taking care of yourself, and I will take care of all of the legal parts of this. Okay? I want you to stop and just take a really deep breath. I know you're scared right now. It's going to be okay. You're going to get through this, and I'll do everything that I can to help you. Okay?
Thank you. I'm feeling more calm already, just knowing that I can put this in your hands and not have to stress as badly in sleepless nights as I have been having since this has happened.
And you already have my cell phone. You can text me, call me, email me anytime. Okay?
Thank you. Thank you so much. And I guess we'll be talking again to sign a retainer agreement.
Yeah, I'll email you all the information, and we'll talk, and we can, I'll answer any and all of your questions.
All right. Excellent, Diane. How did that feel for you?
It felt good. Of course, it felt a little rushed because it's, this artificial situation. But yeah, I mean, I generally give my clients, I was telling Michelle last night, I give them an hour or two to tell me their whole story and ask them lots and lots of questions and take pages and pages of notes. But yeah, I feel like I connected with her. What do you think?
I think you did a great job. We're going to give it to the judges to assess. And what we always say, you did awesome. Obviously, I'll tell you what I think. I think your congruence is outstanding. I think your emotional and energetic transference is fully present. I think your focus and understanding of a process of going from hello to yes is fully clear and palpable. And what we always talk about is it's when we get to a 9.9 at something, that's when the fun begins.
Awesome.
So clearly you're at 9.9s, right? Now it's like the judges may give a different number, right? Because we're applying it to not a world scale. On the world scale, you're 9.9, right? But there's always like that potential for acceleration. And I drop it into a prism like this. The prism I think about is you're in the top 10% of income earners in the United States when you get to $100,000. Most people making $100,000 would be a challenge to live, certainly in California, New York, New Jersey, a lot of places. Yep. You're at the 95th percentile, you're making $150,000, you're 9.5 in the economic scale, right? When you're in the 99th percentile, 9.9, you're making $400,000 roughly. 0.1%, you're 99.9, you're at 1.7 million, 99.99, 7.8 million, 99.99, you're at $56 million. So at the 99th percentile, like a 9.9, we go to from 400,000 to a 9.9999, we go to 56 million. So it's 120x differential in the scale of impact in those micro distinctions. Wow. So I like to think of the world in a heart-centered math formula, right? So how do we create acceleration applying those micro distinctions of influence, and then what we do with them, and how does that all kind of fit together to create accelerations for us? So that's sort of what some of the folks that'll be chatting in a moment see the world in a prism through. It's like, how do we get to that and then go from there? So
like he says, how do we go from great to extraordinary, right? It's that 2 centimeters.
Absolutely. Could not agree more. Could not agree more. And, you know, and I'll do this drop in. And since, you know, I'm super excited with the group here today, Michelle, amazing. I'm very grateful for all of this occurring. So in one of the trials, and I want to say which one, our initial jury verdicts that we had with a mock trial group came back at 1/10 of what we would actually later achieve in a second round on average of mock trial settings. And the distinctions we created wasn't a difference in the group of people. Because I think a lot of times, to me, I think folks think it's all about jury selection, or it's substantially about jury selection. And I believe jury selection has a mild degree of relevance, mild.
Interesting.
Yeah, but what I think matters is how we can open the listening of all people, right? Let's open the listening of all people. So in the process, what we discovered was that a few different ways of presenting. So for example, I'll use this. Yeah, this won't reveal anything. If we were to look at the distinction of presenting our client as somebody who had been wronged versus focusing on the fact that the other side, right, was lying repeatedly and continuously, the differential and how that affected the outcome was extraordinary. And so like 10x extraordinary in that situation, because our client wasn't presenting as particularly sympathetic, right? But when we focus more on the fact of the pervasive lying that had caused the dynamics and how they impacted the dynamics, it had an unbelievable impact on the juries. And literally the average of the jury verdicts in the second round of mock trials was precisely what the jury came out to ultimately, the actual jury. Yeah, and so yes, I sit in the space of micro distinctions, and I'll just add one more. You know, I had the privilege of raising money for Operation Underground Railroad, and the group in an environment in a Tony Robbins event. And so in that event, you know, I asked if I could do a couple of things slightly differently. And the hope was that we would raise $500,000 in 20 minutes, right, from this room full of people, which would have been amazing and unbelievable. And we raised 1.7 million. So we raised, you know, more than 3 times we had hoped to do, again, through a couple of micro distinctions. The micro distinction was breaking the group, breaking the prism into smaller groupings of people and having people come forward to the stage And that created a galvanized energy versus, hey, we're going to pass out some pieces of paper and here's what we're going to do. Mm-hmm. And so I sit in the space of thinking of how do we integrally unlock what people want to do, understanding that people are a default no, because we sit back in the face of influence and say, okay, like, what's this all about? So all of that said, this is what the judges are going to assess. And it was fantastic. Clearly, you're incredible, you're professional, you're a leader amongst leaders, all of those things. And thank you for putting yourself in this place to even get feedback. That's a privilege and honor to even have the ability to give each of you feedback. So thank you.
It's a privilege and honor to be here. Thank you.
Yeah. So maybe let's, Michelle, I don't know, how'd you feel? What's cooking for you?
So this is my first time being the role player. And I was trying to embody a very afraid criminal, alleged criminal. and no, I definitely felt like if that were me and I was in that position and afraid, her energy was very calming and soothing and would make me feel much more at ease.
Yes, I agree. I would want to be hiring Diane if that nightmare ever befell me and my life or somebody I cared about. So amazing. So let's drop in though. So we're going to go 2 judges each round, 30 seconds of feedback. Let's go eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Let's start with Siobhan. No, it was not eeny, meeny, miny, mo at all. I'm lying. Go Siobhan.
All right, Diane, I thought you did a great job, and I don't know what more I can say to top what Sean said, but just one little minor distinction that I caught right at the beginning is Michelle, as your client, started to come in to give her feelings, to say how nervous she was, and I don't know if it was just for purposes of time, but you cut her off. And you were like, yeah, I'm sure that, this is really overwhelming, but why don't you just tell me what happened? And I would have just... understanding that there was time constraints, but I would have let her flesh out her feelings just a little bit more to get more heart-centered and more in a heart conversation with her before moving on to what happened in the criminal case. So aside from that, that's what I have, and I would give you definitely a 9.5.
Thank you.
Awesome job, Siobhan. Deepak, coming from the world of technology and solutions and coaching and heart-centeredness, what say you, sir?
Diane, I think you did really, really good. Like the one thing that really stood out to me is that you were just projecting confidence and certainty. And it was just clear as a bell that you know exactly what you're doing. And that would make me want to hire you instantly. The one thing that I would add, in addition to Siobhan, is, try to create a little bit of an emotional connection in the beginning. And maybe just help her slow down and then go into that certainty, because you already got the certainty, you're projecting that confidence, and then just like create that connection with her and be like, hey, I know you're scared, but we're going to get through this and I'm going to help you through it. And this is how we're going to do it. Blah, 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 blah.
Right. Got it.
But it was awesome.
Thank you.
I would give you a 9.2.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Diane. Awesome job. Thank you. And Michelle, who's next?
Okay, I know Janny has to get off pretty soon, so we're going to go to Janny, and then after her, we'll do Christopher.
Awesome. Janny, who would you like Michelle to be?
You're on mute.
Hi. Michelle, what do you think is a good idea? Who would you like to be? What is good for somebody in my position with what I do for a living?
Would you prefer that I'm a lawyer? Am I maybe the client of a lawyer?
I think a client of a lawyer would be good.
So I've maybe committed some crime in my either drunken or drugged state of mind. Maybe like I was driving and I hit somebody while I was drunk.
Okay.
Does that sound like
sure.
That might be?
And your lawyer, let's just say, is Diane, and Diane has referred you to us.
Okay, great.
For residential treatment.
All right. Jenny, please.
Hi, Michelle. How are you doing today?
I've had better days. I'm sure you spoke to Diane and she explained my situation to you.
Okay.
I'm a little nervous.
Right. So Diane had mentioned that you had a collision while intoxicated, correct?
Yeah, that's
Okay. Okay, and has recommended residential treatment, right? Okay, do you want to tell me a little bit more about the extenuating circumstances, like the precipitating events, what happened leading up to the crash, and what's going on with you substance-wise?
I mean, I guess I might have a drinking problem, but I didn't think I did,
Right.
and I didn't even realize that I had drank the amount that I did that night, and
Okay.
I didn't even see that person. I wasn't paying attention. My mind wasn't clear, and I feel awful for that person. I don't know what's going to happen to that person's life
Okay.
or my life.
Okay. Well,
I'm devastated.
we obviously we don't make the best, most sound decisions when we're intoxicated, and you weren't acting like yourself, but the bright side is that we can help you if we can get you into treatment and address what's going on with you and why you're making those decisions and why you feel the need to self-medicate that gets you to those situations in the first place. We can help you tremendously. So just so you know, I've been in your situation before. I have a backstory. I'm in recovery myself. I used to drink and drive, and I had a collision with my son in the car, and ultimately had my son taken away from me. So I have been in your situation, but we do recover and we do get better. So what I would like to do is talk about those underlying issues, get to what's going on, and see if you would be a good fit for our program. And what we could do is bring you in and address those issues and get you on the path to recovery. And also at the same time, we have a wonderful court services program that can assist you with reports, assist you with representation with your attorney in court, and let the judge know that rehabilitation is always going to be better than incarceration in your case.
Last 15 seconds.
That makes me feel like there might be hope, knowing
There's
that you
always hope, always hope.
Just knowing that you have gone through that. So I think there might be a possibility for me too, and I definitely don't.
It's definitely a possibility.
Thank you.
Awesome. Jenny, great job. And thank you for your vulnerability and openness in that space. And as somebody who's had alcoholism around me impact my life, thank you for your journey and your courage in moving through that process. So that's awesome.
My pleasure. My pleasure.
Thank you. Yeah, Michelle, how'd that feel for you?
It felt good. If I were a person in that situation, hearing her story, her being vulnerable, would make me really feel more at ease. Like, yeah. I don't have to do this. I don't have to go to jail. And there's somebody that's been through this that cares and knows and has been in my shoes. So that identifying factor really hits home.
Awesome.
I think people feel really alone in that situation and like nobody understands. That's why people who are in recovery make the best people to work in this industry, because you haven't connected with somebody in a really long time when you're in that situation. And to feel connected to somebody in a similar situation or has been in a similar situation makes all the difference in the world, in my humble opinion.
That is an awesome opinion. Couldn't agree more. Awesome job. And Iron Man, what do you have for 30 seconds?
Danny, awesome job, first of all. And as soon as you hit at the beginning, you asked some close-ended questions just to verify what was going on. But once you hit the word bright side, I felt you really dropped into your heart. You really started connecting with Michelle. You got really vulnerable with her, and you made it really safe. So I felt like that was awesome. I think, overall with your vulnerability, you went from a very goddess place to very much certain that she would be okay, you would help her, and made her feel really safe. I think optimization for you would be just connecting from a heart place at the beginning, asking her more open-ended questions, who, what, why, when, and getting her to start speaking to you so you could kind of see what was going on with her before you started offering your vulnerability. But I'd give you an 8.5. Excellent job.
Thanks.
Excellent job, Jane. Thank you, Iron Man. And Siobhan, what do you have?
Right, Jenny, I thought you did a great job. Mimic some of what Jason Sippel said. I wrote down goddess energy as well. And then for Diane's fun, I wrote down the Zeus energy. That's certainly the energy. That's kind of where you both were living during that. You mentioned something to Michelle right in the very beginning that just said, what's going on with you substance-wise? And I maybe would have just left that more broad. So tell me what's going on with you.
Yeah.
Why do you feel the need to drink, or what was it, and let her get into that vulnerable state for her and open up a little bit, and then you conveying your identity and then connecting with her on that level. Just that would have been a phenomenal conversation. It would have taken it from that, where Sean was saying the 9.9 to the 9.999, and just with that connection there. So I thought you did a great job, and I would give you an 8.7.
Thank you.
Nice. Awesome job, Jenny, and thank you. I know if you have to bounce for being here today. Thank you.
Thanks. I have a couple more minutes.
Oh, cool. Awesome. Thank you. By the way, how do you like the format, and how's this working for you?
For me, I was very nervous, to be honest with you. I feel like I do connect a little bit more with clients when it's one-on-one. I feel nervous. I'm just being I'm a very honest person. I feel nervous, but I think it's great. I think this is a great forum, and it's very interesting and educational, and I love it. I'm super glad that I was asked to participate. I was hesitant this morning, but I'm glad I logged in and did this. So thank you for having me.
Thank you. And if we could hold space for this possibility, what if there's no such thing as rejection, right? What if there's no such thing as failure, right? And what if we can actually frame that meaning into our nervous system, and realizing that, Jenny, you have so much to offer the world, and the more and more comfortable we all are in sharing our gifts with everyone, openly, vulnerably, as you just did here today, thank you again, our impact expands. So just a thought, and that's part of what we're here to do as well. So thank you so much for joining us in our fun science lab called The Real Raw.
Sure, my pleasure.
Yeah, thanks. So Michelle, who's next?
All right. I'm loving this right now. Okay, Chris Mccann. I love this guy.
Chris, love is in the air, and who would you like Michelle to be?
I'm going to challenge her. I would like her to be a district attorney. How about that? I think she'd be a good one.
All right.
So I've got a case where I have a client who was involved in a minor road rage accident, where he got out of the car and he spit on and smacked a young lady's window and broke the window before fleeing. And I've got a client who's charged with vandalism. And so I'd like to try to negotiate a disposition with her.
Chris, this is awesome. Great scenario. Love it. Yeah.
Okay.
So, Michelle, you got to calm down. You got to take a deep breath.
I'm district attorney on this one.
I know. So, right. Yeah, I know. So awesome job. And the DA is ready. Chris, take us in, please.
Okay. So, Michelle, I've got this client, and, he's got a clean record. He hasn't been in any trouble before. He's a professional. He's got a family. He's got kids. He's really worried about having this criminal offense on his background. It could influence whether he keeps his job when they do a background check. I'd like to obviously compensate this victim. My client fortunately lost his cool. I wanted to be able to make amends to the victim. I want her to feel like she's heard and understood and gets what she deserves. While at the same time, I hope you could see to it that helping my client is also an important thing to me in fulfilling what your victim needs. So we'd like to obviously apologize to her and provide any compensation to fix her car as soon as possible. And I'm wondering if you could consider possibly doing a civil compromise in this case, where if he can provide the compensation restitution to the victim and to her satisfaction, that you'd be willing to dismiss the case based on a civil restitution action. Do you think you could consider that?
I'm not. I don't think that at this point. I mean, he lost his cool. That's quite an exaggeration of, I think, of what happened. I don't know. Losing his cool is how I would describe that. Somebody that gets out of their car and does the things that this gentleman did has a serious anger management problem, and obviously he needs to pay for this financially. But I don't know that we're ready to dismiss this case.
Would also you consider, he's already got into therapy, and I'd like to provide some proof of that, so you could be satisfied that he's trying to also get some help to address the anger management issue. That I can present letters on that, also character reference letters. So in addition to the victim being compensated, you're satisfied that he's addressed his issues so he doesn't harm anybody else. And I think this is just a one-time mistake. Would you consider something like that, perhaps?
I'm still not certain that this could be a one-time mistake. I don't feel confident in that. It's very well likely that he just didn't get caught with the other things that he's done before. I appreciate that he is in therapy, and I would love to see that for any consideration that might be made. But again, I don't know that we're going to dismiss this case.
Okay. Would this be something if we could perhaps continue the matter so that I could provide you proof that he's getting counseling, compensation to the victim, and also I could provide I communicate with the victim and make sure that she's satisfied and provide that to you at a later date, and perhaps we might be able to discuss this at another time. Would that be something that would be acceptable to you at this point?
We can continue this. I want to see all of the documents that you're referring to, and I want to know what the victim has to say about this. At this point, I'm going to stand firm that dismissal is off the table for now, but I will continue it.
I appreciate you giving me the opportunity. That's really all that we can ask right now. I know this is you're in a tough position, so I just having the opportunity to see if we can make amends for this and provide you what you're looking for to hopefully make your victim whole and satisfy your needs here in this case to address the issues that you're concerned with. So thank you for that.
Excellent. Chris, this is definitely not your first rodeo. Great job. How'd that feel for you?
Good. It actually quite typical of, so it actually felt very natural. Speaking to a very serious and firm a DA who's disappointed with my client and is not budging much. So that's nothing new for me.
and I'm sorry, does your client base frequently spit and break windows?
It really is his first time, I swear.
I believe
it. I'm not lying.
That is truly, truly awesome. Chris, where'd you grow up, by the way?
Michigan. I grew up in a little small town on the map here, right about here, a little town called Frankenmuth in Michigan, between Flint and Saginaw. I was actually born in Flint, but raised in this little town of 2,500 people and out in the country. So I'm a Midwestern boy, and I think that helps a lot, having that. I don't know, maybe it's a stereotype. The Midwestern people would kind of have a way to get to know and gab with people and establish that connection. Because I think that's the most important thing is not just listening to someone and hearing them, but understanding them, so relating to them, making that personal connection that I think sometimes, I don't know, we country folk have a way to kind of make that connection with people so they feel at ease. And I think I've gotten more out of better offers out of DAs that I have been able to and have the time to make a connection with them so that they're understood and they understand me. So.
Well, couldn't agree more. Oprah Winfrey said she held a microphone for 30,000 people in her final episode because she told everybody in their encounters, I see you,
I hear you. And what you say matters to me. And that's what she communicated through her listening, through her presence, through her language, throughout her journey. And it worked pretty well for Oprah. And authentically, I see you, I hear you, right? The impression on people. So couldn't agree more. And we have, look, this is like the introduction of introductions to our being together, but we could talk about these dynamics for 100 hours. So couldn't agree more, but let's not do that. Let's get right to our amazing judges. Deepak, what do you have for Chris?
Chris, man, you are definitely super smooth. Like when you are communicating to the person, like it's like you've done this a million times, right? And that's very, very clear. I think that may be to your detriment. And I don't know the legal world, but my assumption is that the DA is like, here he comes. He's spit this same thing so many times. It's the same thing. And I'm already at a default no, and you're not moving me from a default no, because it's the same thing. So maybe you could ask some questions to get some more information to get him out of that default no. Like, have you ever had another case with no priors that have made a mistake, and he's got kids and he's going to lose his job and blah, 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 and just let him talk a little bit. Like it was just you communicating throughout the whole thing.
It's too much of a sales pitch, right?
Yeah, exactly. So right. Like, you're walking into a default no with the DA.
Yeah, so we call that great point, Deepak. Chris, we call that the creation of a scotoma as we build emotional rapport. Like, how do you take, even if it's a situation where when somebody's in a default no, let's talk about two relational partners where the patterns are so established. Like, I know what you're going to say now, right? And so in any dynamic where that's present, how do we interrupt that pattern so we no longer sound like Charlie Brown's teacher saying want, 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 and the beginning of that access point to like opening listening? Because what Charles Schultz in Peanuts is really saying is that's how teachers are seen by kids, but it's how most people see one another, I believe. So how do we open that listening? And couldn't agree with Deepak more. It's through effective questions. We talk about 4 steps, 10 indispensable elements, 4 energies, but how do you create that pattern interrupt where people are feeling like present to authentic communication, not just a desire to move you from your position to another? You did awesome, but I think that's what Deepak is speaking into. I know that's what he's speaking into. So great job, Deepak. And what'd you have for
I totally see that. Thank you, Deepak.
Yeah, you're welcome. And I've got an 8.7 for you.
Excellent. Thank you. Iron Man.
All right. First, Michelle, man, you are a tough DA, a pretty convincing alleged criminal as well. Yeah, Chris, I thought to kind of add to what Sean and Deepak said, you're definitely certain, you're definitely smooth. You didn't have a lot of tonal shifts. You stayed really comfortable. In between, when you're laughing, when you're talking about being from the Midwest, you're fun, man. So like kind of opening up the listening with a little bit of just connection, just a quick question like, hey, what's present, Miss DA? What's going on? And then kind of moving into that to get, like Sean said, like Deepak said, to open up her listening. So then you can go and ask questions and kind of see if there's a situation or something that can be done. Because she was a hard default no all the way through. Like I was cringing for you. So you do that, and I think you have a lot more access. Just use your natural gifts, and I'd give you an 8.2. Great job.
Yeah, excellent job, Chris. Michelle, who do we have next?
Steve Goodman, and I'm wondering what kind of alleged criminal I'm going to be next. I am all sorts of. I've got crime written all over me today.
You're not going to be a criminal.
You were a great DA, though, Michelle. You really have been in the room, I'm sure.
I know a few. That's for sure.
Awesome job, Michelle. Steve.
So from a bail perspective, right, or rehab perspective, because I've get both of those, I'm going to take you as a grandma, okay? And your grandchild who has consistently been in trouble with the law, but he wants to get better. He's in custody and his bail's $500,000. So you're looking at $50,000 to get him out. Mom doesn't want to do anything anymore. Dad doesn't want to do anything anymore. And you actually don't even understand the system. Wow. But you don't even know really what to do at this point in time because he is an addict. At the same time, he is in custody.
All right, Steve, love the scenario. Clearly, this is not your first rodeo either, my friend. Awesome. And yeah, Michelle, you ready to be grandma that is in great pain?
Let me make my walker. Just kidding. Okay.
All right, Steve, take us in.
Hi, Michelle.
Hi, Steve. Thank you for calling me back. I'm a little, my grandson, I just don't know what to do with. I'm so worried about him.
Well, he's in custody right now, as you know. His bail is, it's a $500,000. Okay, do you understand what that means?
That I'm not, so the bail is $500,000, but I don't know what the bail is.
Okay. So you don't understand bail at all then, correct?
I don't.
Okay, so first off, let's make sure that our goal is to get him out, correct?
Yes, I'm so worried about him in there.
Okay. So the way that bail works is I'm going to put up the $500,000, but I'm going to charge you a premium for that. So that premium is usually a 10% fee. So that would be about $50,000. Of course, that's not something that you have to put up at the present time, but you would have to put up a portion of it, and then we can do payment plans. That's just the money portion aspect of it. Okay?
So do I pay the $500,000? I don't know how I'm going to get this money.
Well, you're not going to pay the $500,000. I'm going to pay the $500,000. And you're going to pay me a portion of that. That's how I'm able to pay that $500,000. So that's where that $50,000 comes from. Okay. Now I'm going to probably have to ask for collateral. Do you own a home?
I do own a home. I don't know what to do to get you the $50,000 though.
Well, is it something that you actually have?
I don't have that kind of money on me, but I'm really desperate to get my grandson out of jail.
Okay, so what I would recommend doing is, first off, is I would contact some other family members to help out. Okay, I can do that for you, but I'd like you to contact them first so that you all can act as a tribe. Sometimes it takes a tribe to get somebody out of custody. And second, being that you're incredibly concerned right now with your grandson, one of the biggest cues is if he's, or how would I put this, to help him the most, he is, from what I've seen on his rap sheet, as you would saw, he's got a drug addiction. So after we get past 18, we can't typically keep somebody in custody or in rehab if they want to leave. But if you bail him out, you can actually force him to actually stay in rehab. So he will actually get a lot better chance of recovering this time than sitting 6 months or a year or 2 or 3 years in jail.
Oh my gosh. So you're saying that, okay, so I have to get this money. You'll help me talk to my family. And then we can actually get my grandson help. This would be life-saving.
Absolutely.
10 seconds to go. Last 10 seconds, yeah.
Oh, so what I'd like from you first is I'd like you to create a list for me of your family members that can help you actually try and pay part of that $50,000. And then I want you to actually also know that you're going to be the one who you have absolute control over your grandchild at that point in time if we bail him out. Where if he says, I don't want to go to rehab, I just need to leave, I need to get out, you can say, well, part of your condition of this is that you're going to stay in, and that's because I love you.
Oh my gosh. Thank you so much. I can't believe that there's hope for my grandson.
Excellent. Steve, great job. How'd that feel for you?
I felt okay. It's tough to see a person sometimes compared to usually it's on the phone. So you're looking for facial cues comparatively to voice cues. There's some things that I probably could have made a little bit smoother, but it was okay.
Yeah, well, excellent. And Michelle, just great job today, all day, varying your personas and a new access to your ability.
I had it in me.
Great job. Siobhan, what do you have for Steve?
Great, Steve. I thought you did a great job overall. You set up the scenario as to like what was going on with your grandson and what help she wanted, but you didn't give Michelle a chance to pull that out of her as grandma. So I would have maybe just, asked about her grandson. She said a couple of times, I want him out of jail and I'm concerned about him, but you didn't find out why. You presumed from the rap sheet that it was drug addictions and drug charges, instead of actually getting that out of Michelle and out of the family and what was going on with the grandson, what his issues really are, what's going on, there's something more going on there, or they'll disconnect on that level and flesh that out a little bit more. So I give you an 8.5.
All right, excellent, Siobhan. And Deepak.
I'm not convinced Michelle hasn't been all of these people. It's just too good. It's too good. Steve, what really shouts out at me is that you're super cool, super calm, very collected, and the way that you speak, it really brings her down, right? Because she's like frantic with a grandson, and I love the way that you communicate, very calm. The only thing that I would add, similar to what Siobhan said, is like acknowledge the love between a grandma and her grandchild. And like getting too technical with the numbers, that was definitely some confusion with her. And then I may stay away from a word like rap sheet versus, hey, I know your grandson has been in trouble in the past, and based on that we could do blah 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 blah. But I think you are an excellent communicator. Love it. 8.7.
Excellent job. So I think, is that a conclusion of our participants, Michelle?
That's it. I just want to say thank you to everyone for participating in this. It's been really interesting playing all these different roles, and everybody did such a phenomenal job. Thank you all.
No, yes, thank you. Diane, Janny, Chris, Steve, great job. Deepak, Siobhan, Ironman, Jay Sips, and Michelle, just awesome job. Influence truly is a superpower. It's there, it's present, and if this is the end of our journey, I hope that this was a supportive, helpful day. I thank you so much for your time. And let's never forget, there is no failure, there is no rejection, but there is integrity, there is authenticity, and the ability for us to go from hello to yes is in fact the only attainable superpower for people. And hopefully this is not the end, but just the beginning. So thank you. Happy Y Wednesday. And I hope all is well in the ocean today. And we make it through another day in the Pacific. So we will talk to you in a little bit. And again, Michelle.